guys, welcome to our review of the penultimate episode of The Last of Us Part 2 video game adaptation, Season 2 on Max, renamed HBO Max, renamed Max back to HBO Max, which formerly was Go, formerly now HBO Now got switched to HBO Go.
It was now before
then,
Go, yeah. And then it was home box office before.
Yes, home box office.
Home box office.
Okay, so guys, episode 6. Wow, what a roller coaster for me. Because when they go 1-for-1 on the video game, especially in the museum scene, which was the best part of The Last of Us Part 2, go watch our review. We really enjoyed that part. They did it shot for shot, scene for scene, and we'll talk about why in the after the episode. They explain why. Mwah! Chef's kiss. We're hovering 9-10 territory. But that's not all that was in this particular episode. There's huge implications. The way they film stuff, what they imply, I have problems with. First, I want to say, Joel is back. Pedro Pascal is Joel. Joel is simply the best father ever.
Yes.
Team Joel. All the way. It's always been Team Joel for me. The best fucking father. I want Joel as my father, and anybody should want Joel as their father. But this series constantly does the best to say that Joel is a piece of shit, and Joel makes shitty decisions, and they tried to, and then he's wrong to morally complicate things and have you choose Team Abby. At least that was the video game. So
made me hate Ellie a little bit more here.
Yeah, and honestly, when you see her acting alongside some really good actors, which the actor that they chose to play Joel's father, perfect. I forget this actor's name, but this looks so
He's good
much.
in everything.
He's good in everything. He's the swordsman in the MCU. That dad casting is perfect. Because we do get a flashback to Joel and Tommy's childhood, which we never got in the game. This is HBO trying to add more context. When they do that, I think it kind of works.
Yeah.
But this is the story of this show. Changing some things, some of it works. Here comes another thing, changing another thing. The Eugene scene finally happens. The therapist, Gail, her story ties into her husband, Eugene, which is changed from the video game and added to the video game. I knew that we were marching towards this moment, and I hated this moment. But it's just there to further reinforce why Joel makes the wrong decision, is what they're trying to tell you. That what he did was wrong. Joel was right. Never letting go of that. And then, finally, eventually we get the guitar. Joel handcrafting a guitar. That's actually a change to the video game because I don't think he handcrafted the guitar. No. This is even better. Love it. Pedro, it's just the music, the shot compositions, everything is perfect. Hands the guitar. Ellie has to ruin the scene with with the fucking cake thing, but whatever.
She was on painkillers. He's all loopy. I was like,
yeah, it's an excuse for your acting because it's getting really bad at this point. And so we have subsequent birthdays from this amazing birthday that no father has ever topped this birthday, because we have to talk about all the gifts, because it was like 17 gifts in one birthday, and the next birthday, and the next birthday. But eventually, when we get to the porch conversation, it is revealed that Ellie walked off, but she came back. And they have this porch conversation. This was at the end of the game, if I remember right, chronologically. And I think it does a disservice to moving it up. If we're about to do a ton of, but we had to. I understand they had to at this point, especially because everybody loves Joel. We want to bring Joel back. But I think that some of the context in this scene, they do it shot for shot, but then they add something, and that's something I hate. I hate that they added something here, which was basically confirmation that this was the cure was going to work, and you stole the cure not just from me, but from everybody. My life doesn't have purpose. You stole it from me, and you stole it from the entire world. Bullshit. Yes, and
You
I
don't
like the
know
way
that.
that's handled, but also bullshit about the cure and Joel, them forcing to believe that Joel believes that the cure was going to work. Because Joel does not believe, the actual Joel character does not believe that cure was going to work.
Yeah, I liked it in the game because they left it kind of open.
Yes,
and
it was open to interpretation.
I like it's like, well, we don't know for sure. Like,
HBO thinks you're fucking stupid.
Yeah.
The subtlety and interpretation are ripped out of the scene, just like you said.
Yeah, because he's like, oh, was it a cure? He's like, yes, there was a cure. I was like, well, I don't remember.
Yeah,
no,
he's
like
like
no.
shaking his- he's like
They were
this.
running some. Well, he obviously made some of the stuff up. It's either running tests. It's like, but you don't know for sure. A lot of other people died.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
I liked it how it was open, but not this one.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, you didn't give me my choice. And again, I was already pissed off with Ellie on this one before that scene as well. I'm just like, God damn it.
Oh, and then now I know she's a teenager, so it's supposed to be this way, and it is this way in the video game. Like the disrespect, you know, like this is an amazing father. These gifts are like S tier level, and then the next year it's like nothing. There's no respect.
That's teenagers.
Teenagers. Man.
Yes, she's just holding that resentment for.
Yeah,
what really happened.
And that's what builds up in her.
Mm-hmm.
And that's legit, and that perfectly works perfectly fine here. But they move some stuff around. So aside from the Eugene scene, which it did not, I think it does damage. And then also having Joel believe that this is a cure, that he actually did take it away from the world, but he doesn't care because he's selfish, I don't think was the way to interpret it. You took away the interpretation that other people had, and you spelled it out for people here just so that you can strengthen your argument later on that Joel represents a negative aspect of Ellie, and Ellie needs to leave Joel behind, his memory behind, and his guitar behind, and start over. Because that she's giving into, he's bringing out the murderous elements within her. But at least in the HBO show, that's not exactly accurate. I'm going to add more to that as we talk about it. But that's not the case for the HBO show, because for some reason Craig Mazin has shown her to be kind of like a little bit of a psychotic. You know, she's like likes to poke stuff. She likes to kill, likes the idea of killing things even before this whole. All right. Anyways, let's go. What do you think, guys?
I actually really enjoyed the first half.
Yes.
You know, and I've done nothing but give Bella shit the entire time, and I stand by what I'm saying. I don't care enough to lie to anybody, including the audience that are watching this. But I think she actually did a really good. I think her as young Ellie works. I don't get especially in the museum scene, like the wide-eyed, the excited, like all of that stuff works for me, and it was such a contrast to later in the show, and like looking back on other scenes, it's like it feels like she's being forced into an aspect of Ellie that not only do I not agree with what Craig is doing with the character, but it's like it doesn't fit. Like Bella does not fit as Craig. Like the revenge driven the Ellie. And so, but seeing young Ellie in the museum was like, I have no problem with Bella Ramsey at all in this. Yeah. And so it's like I wanted to give, it's like this worked for me. So like Ellie, younger, 14, 15, 16, absolutely works as far as the acting goes. But as we got out of the game stuff, I really enjoyed the Joel and his father and Tommy scene. I thought that was really interesting. But just towards the end, it's just like this whole portraying Ellie as someone who is dumb is not something that I liked. I didn't like that, like Ellie Gale in reference to the Eugene scene. I just doesn't think it's like even as a little
decision that she makes there. She damages Gale.
it's like you learn even as a kid that like sometimes sparing people
Yes,
is
exactly.
important.
Selfish as Joel.
And it's like I get it because it's one of the, you're supposed to see it because she herself feels like she's being lied to, but then she's not smart enough to understand that maybe when someone's gone through something incredibly traumatic that this is not going to help the situation.
Exactly.
So it's like there are certain things here that I just don't like. And I'm past the point of being mad at it because I just, I didn't. Sunday night came around, I wasn't even thinking about the show.
Me
I
neither.
watched it this morning.
I was like, oh fuck, I gotta watch it.
And so it's like I'm not looking forward to it. I don't look at any of the forum posts. I don't know what Reddit thinks of this episode. I don't care. I'm at the point now where I don't care about the show. I've reconciled that it's not for me, and it's going to continue to go on. And I'll give you guys my honest opinion about it. But the last half of this episode, I don't think is great. And I imagine the next episode won't be.
I think it does damage to the Ellie character and does damage to the Joel character in order to try to push an agenda and a certain point of view to make it stronger at the end.
If you were about to make the most important decision of your entire adult, so after Joel post-apocalypse adult life, Joel is faced with the situation where he recognizes he's about to lose someone that he loves, the last person on earth that he loves.
On a chance,
would you let the person ask you only yes or no questions and not? And it's just like I hate it in the video game because it's like
we hate it in the video game.
It's like when you present a situation where something is so vitally important and then you just do not talk it out. Communication is so important to all of these things, and this is a softer Joel. So this version of Joel absolutely would have talked about.
Yeah.
This is I guess this is a dumber Ellie, so she thinks that you can get the answers that you need with no context, only in yes or no questions. But it's like I didn't like it then, I still don't like it now. And it's like having this guy sitting there know that he's going to die alone and lose the most important person, and him just go, I'm not going to defend my actions, and just go on, still sucks.
Yeah, pretty much spot on with that. As soon as he got to the 17th birthday, well, it went downhill for me. Patrolling stuff with Eugene, the way she was acting, and really, I agree. She's not believable as an older Ellie. I still can't get to it. I'm never going to. It's not going to happen even in season 3.
I don't think they ever made this transition. And I think it's Craig's mandate that she's the same.
Yeah.
She's literally the same.
They should have switched up. But, I hated that scene as well. It's like, oh, just because you saw Joel lie, he's like, oh, well, that you gave me that same look. So now I'm going to be selfish and then ruin this for both of you guys.
Yeah.
I was like, that's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, it is.
So.
But I think we're supposed to mean that it's fucked up what Joel did. I don't think it's fucked up what Joel did.
No.
I actually don't. Could he have? Could Eugene have had extra time and talk to Gail?
It's protocol.
Yes, maybe.
You probably don't bring infected
But
to
if
the
it
city.
is legitimately protocol, then Gail understood that. Eugene understood that. Tommy would have understood that because he's the leader of the community, might have made the exact same decision. Everybody else would have made the exact same decision.
Yeah,
but if you're 17 and your hormones are going on, then you don't make that decision.
And it was her first patrol, so she needs to understand. It's like, look, this is what we got to do. We got to do it.
And then when they're talking on the porch, it's done as when it's copying the video game 100%, it's working. But then when they add in extra lines and extra context that completely kills the entire idea of the complexity of the situation, where they spell it out for you, that they treat their audience as stupid, and
you are the chosen one,
I
and
think
the
it ruins
cure.
it. Yeah, and it would have been possible to cure the entire world. No,
not only could this guy without technology created the cure, even though it wasn't his specialty.
They would have held it.
They would have given it to everybody, including Fedra and the what are the
wolf.
He's being facetious.
Yeah, it's like all of this stuff absolutely would have happened, and it totally would have gone just fine.
It's for everyone.
Yeah.
Nope.
No, they would have turned into an oppressive regime and only give the cure to certain people that the Fireflies deem worthy. And that's if even it was created. It was revealed in documents that they had tried 11 other times.
Well, and then the first thing that they say in this entire episode, in series at the very beginning, is just because you're immune doesn't mean you can't be torn apart. And it's like the cure doesn't mean that the fungus, the clickers go away. They're still going to attack you and rip you in fucking half.
Yeah. And now that it's out in nature, it's probably always there, unless you're finding an extermination fucking spray that exterminates. That's something different. than Cure and trying to reverse. Well, maybe
Are they
going
to start playing with that
reverse
more?
engineer and
'Cause
create it.
I feel like there's going to be less
No, I don't think they're going to touch any of
spores
that
and the
stuff.
clickers.
Yeah,
yeah, this is
That was just for that one moment.
that one scene.
But I do like the general sentiment. So it's like Neil Druckmann does get some of this right, and we gave his first game a 10 out of 10. Some of these themes make sense. When she says that my life, you took this away from me, I would have mattered, and he says almost instantly in the game, I would do it again. And that he's saying your life does matter in that say. You matter. Your life matters. That's what he says by I would do it again. But he doesn't use those words. He says I would do it again because he's like, you matter. Your life matters. When she says my life would have mattered, he's like, your life matters now. And he needs to get Ellie to realize that. So it's heartbreaking.
Teenagers.
There's some emotion there. But because we've seen it in the game, because they're hammering your head over it, because they're injecting a few extra points there to make it crystal clear and with less interpretation and subtlety, I think it does damage to the scene. Now, I'm a video game player. If you're watching this for the first time, you don't get any of these nuances, and you think, oh, literally the entire world would have been saved. Fuck Joel. Joel literally stole the cure from billions of people.
Well, that's what I mean. Neil.
Well, I guess there's not billions in this world.
That's what Neil
anymore.
came out and said after the fact. He's like,
But that was after
well,
the fact.
I know. I'm just explaining to these people that like Neil did come out and say that them killing Ellie would have generated a cure that would have saved everyone. And then you're not supposed to think about the fact that they had no means to create it and then to distribute it or form a government, and they all hated each other.
And in the original idea of the game, that wasn't going to be the case.
You were also going to get ripped in half. Like there are bears afflicted with the fungus, and they don't care if you're immune.
Yeah.
They're going to rip your guts out.
But I guess if they would mean you'd shoot the bear with the tranquilizer dart or hit him with spray reverse engineered from the cure, and he would no longer be a clicker.
Just a regular bear. They're still dangerous.
Oh,
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know what they're doing. They could go any number of directions. It could just,
They said in the thing that the cure that they were going to do would make the fungus think that you're already infected. It doesn't kill the fungus. It's still there.
That's yeah.
It doesn't reverse.
That's not a vaccine. That's something different.
Yeah.
There was a video on whether it was a cure or a vaccine. Go watch that. But
You shoot the bear that's like missing all of its parts, and it's like, kill me, please, because it's like it doesn't add the skin back to its bones and stuff.
Okay.
You wouldn't want to kill it.
So it's as it was following the game, I'm like, this is being executed nicely. We're at 9 out of 10, but then there's just other parts of it that I didn't really like, and it dragged down over multiple issues. And then plus the issue is part 2 is not a good of a story. And even if they follow it to a T, we didn't enjoy it the first time. So you trying to put Band-Aids and patches over something and making things slightly better and making things much worse, and then having problems with the performance of Ellie as an adult, you're making something worse. So, yeah. All right, let's go with final verdicts for this particular episode.
Go ahead.
I have no idea, and it's not that I haven't put any thought into it, because like even watching it, I was like, wow, I absolutely love like 10 out of 10 some of the parts of this episode, but I was really didn't like some of these other things. So I think that the insane high points make me think that this is at least an above average episode, because I don't want to understate like how good some of this stuff was and how good parts of Last of Us 2 the video game are, because there is some incredible quality there. But there's just other things that, we get reminded of and things get dragged down. So I think I'm going to go with this. I think it's above average. I think it's a 6 out of 10 it's like, I would just, even if you're not a fan of the show and you just like the video game, look what they did to the first half.
Yeah.
Like watch the first couple birthdays and see how amazing both of these people are. I understand like they've got the Pedro and Bella have great rapport. These scenes are incredible. She's a totally believable
As a kid.
young Ellie. It just doesn't translate to later, and then the later stuff they're adding some things that I don't like, and yeah.
Yeah, I like the opening scene especially, but after I think the 16th, 17th birthday really dropped for me. I'm just gonna go with a 5. It was average. I liked the first half and everything. Honestly, I could have kind of skipped.
Yeah. So I wrote down here, I was going to give it a 9 out of 10. if only a bit of fumbles from Bella here and there. But little girl Bella, she does that fine. But the other parts, I'm deducting 2 whole points for some of these changes that they made to a 7. And maybe even a 6 when you include this Eugene stuff and you're getting hammered over the head with, all this other bullshit. So I can actually see a 5 out of 10. I'm going to end at a 6 out of 10, slightly above average, only because Pedro holds this thing up when they stick scene for scene, which is what Neil after the episode said, that Craig actually came during the production of Last of Us Part 2, the video game. And Neil goes, hey, man, you want to see something cool? You want to see a scene from the second game? Craig goes, yeah. He showed the museum scene with the rocket ship. And by the end, Craig goes, we need that in the show, shot for shot. Not changing that at all.
That was a good scene.
Cool.
I loved it.
Neil, I can't believe it, but Neil has, shit right. I'm praising Neil. Well, I have praised Neil before.
Yep.
You got the first game. And Craig has been responsible for some of these changes. And we'll go into it deeper after the episode if you've seen it. And I think that Craig and this lady, who there was never a name attributed to her, I'll have to look it up. Maybe she's the director, have ideas that I disagree with, and I think that that's where some of these bad changes are coming from, in my opinion. You might like it, I don't like it. So I'm actually defending Neil on this part. But anyways, 6 out of 10. Let's go ahead and go into when it should be, because it's the best part of the video game. So if there's one part I'm going to give this fucking show, it's 10 out of 10. It's right here. You just missed your opportunity. We were floating at 9. Ended at a 6 because they can't fucking help themselves. Going into the breakdown, this is good shit. Flashback to Joel and Tommy. Joel's protecting Tommy. Tommy thinks he's going to get his ass whooped because their cop father comes home and beats the kids every once in a while. Potentially an alcoholic, has anger issues. However, when Joel protects Tommy, says it's his fault, the father's like, I know you're lying. I've already talked to these kids that you beat up, the
They're trying to
parents
swindle
and the
Tommy
other cops.
with drugs.
They're trying to, Tommy with drugs. But when Joe confronts him and he's just ready to take the beating, he's ready to do the right thing and protect somebody. And I thought the casting for the dad was perfect, man. I could feel the emotion. Instead of going to beat his ass, his son deconstructs him and makes him cry, essentially. And he says one of the best lines was, I hope that when you grow up and you're a father and you'll understand that you and I did. He tells a story about his father who used to abuse him. And he says, with you guys, yes, I hit Tommy. Yes, I've hit you, but never the way my dad hit me. And we'll do a little bit better. And each time, progressively a little bit better, and I hope you do it a little bit better. And I was like, man, this is damn good television. This is the actor's great here. He's literally crying on command. It's fucking great. Well acted scene. Now, he shows compassion instead of hitting his kids. Then we go to present day. We get Joel trading with the bigot dude. Turns out he was giving us
11
Legos.
out of 10.
Joe, what you think
11 out of 10.
Legos.
I was like, you found
Joel.
Legos.
So not only are we already on Team Joel, but now Joe just went into the stratosphere. Joel would have got you Legos.
Oh my God!
He would have found
in
the pirate
apocalypse.
ship in the apocalypse.
Well, that's like $1,000 worth of Legos in today's
what did
terms.
he give back to him? A fucking vanilla cake. And he found something else. Like he was like, I need something else.
The
Don't
cassette
worry, you
tape.
have plenty of them.
Well,
I think it was maybe guitar strings
Oh,
the Dremel maybe. I don't
The
know.
little bone thing
You
for
get
the
something
guitar.
else.
I
Oh,
think.
yeah.
that's
Plenty
what-
of bones, yeah. All right. So, and then, but, man.
Yeah, this is a good one. He's like constructing, like he's got the Dremel, making it from a design that she had.
Yeah.
I was like, this guy's fucking
When
talented.
Pedro
Constructed
is
the whole
leading
fucking,
the show,
yes.
it reminds me how much
Of better
better
times.
this show used to be. The acting, the shots, and he handcrafting that guitar for Ellie.
I was like, damn.
I want that.
I
You
don't
won't give
remember,
me
yeah.
that, right? And he's like, they call this here a guitar. He's from Austin, Texas, where we at. You can get a guitar.
Because the other scene wasn't in there where she like burned herself. She's all loopy and stuff,
we don't
right?
see that in the game.
Yeah, she shows up. She's like, "Oh, what happened to her?" She's like, "Well, she burned herself."
I like the way they did this. It's all like, you kind of figures out it's like a father, stumbling into a teenager doing teenage things, right? She burned herself to where... Oh, this is a separate scene. I'm sorry. So, yeah, first Tommy takes her up because she burned... I want to wear short sleeves again. And ultimately, I think it's a clever way to hide her thing. So I kind of agree with her. It was just a thing that happens. Kids will be kids in this way. And Ellie will be Ellie. But anyways, he gets the cake for her. She eats the cake. And it says Eli on there instead of Ellie because the bigot doesn't know how to spell. And then he presents her that guitar, and she makes him sing. And Pedro Pascal's not really a singer. Okay, it's not quite as bad as Russell Crowe. You guys have told me.
Javert.
You know nothing of Javert.
But it's not that bad. And she goes, well, that didn't suck. Just like the games and stuff, and what she says earlier in the past episode. So yeah. So he plays the song, Future Days from Pearl Jam. Great, wonderful. That whole part, man, this is riding high. We're like 8, and then 1 year later, this is 9-10 territory. They're on an adventure together. She's guessing where they're going. This is straight from the video game, the best part of the video game. T-Rex from the top of the T-Rex museum. They go there. Holy shit. This is the best presents ever. And then the way the episode here, you can feel the awe, the inspiration, it's just perfect. And I love the little line that he drops. He goes, someone must have greased it. It's because she's doing the planets. Why this works? Yeah. Someone must have greased it. That's such a dad thing. It's fucking awesome, man. And it's just too good of a gift. How many fucking... What are all the things he gave her for that day's fucking birthday? Count them.
The T-Rex?
The T-Rex could have been one birthday in its own.
That's like, well, we go to the museum. That's the...
She could take
but this is the apocalypse. The T-Rex. The spaceship. The helmet. The fucking tape. And he goes, I do okay. I was like, damn, man, you did better than okay. This is for the ages.
And he was so happy. You see his like happy tear.
You saw that little tear there.
I was like, man.
Oh,
best.
Perfect way.
Like, where did you go wrong, Ellie?
Like
Where did you go wrong?
Yeah, and then you see the lighting change. I would have loved to have seen stars, but that's too much. You don't want to over visualize it. You want to show that it is happening in her head, but And then we do 1 year. Oh. But then they have to, and then this fucking show, they have to ruin this moment. They have to beat you over the head with it. So as they're walking out, she gets distracted by something. And, this amazing day of 15 of the perfect gifts. And then she walks off, and the shot lingers. And what was it? Fireflies. So it's still in the back of her head always. It's just a visual way to show that there's something building.
They did it in the game, right?
I can't remember
the symbol.
if
It says liar. They kind of talk about it.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So it was in the video game too. But this gets more ham-fisted as we go along. Mm-hmm. So then 1 year later, 17th birthday, the cake is right this time. Go ahead.
Yeah, he comes home early. He goes upstairs. He hears some commotion. He starts knocking on the door. It's like, what's going on? He opens the door. Sex, drugs, and alcohol, and tattoos. A little bit of everything.
That's everything. And he goes,
what
drugs,
the fuck?
tattoos, sex, experimenting with girls? And she's like, it's not a fucking experiment or something. Mm-hmm. That's when she's asserting herself that she's gay. And he doesn't know. So, yeah, she moves out to the shed. And when he's trying to do this, she's trying to do this, they get into an argument. He goes, it's my house. And she goes, no, it's not. They gave it to you. I was like, yeah, but it's his house. He gave it to him.
Yeah, they maintain.
You realize he's maintaining the whole town and doing things for the town. it's his fucking
Kids
house.
don't think about that.
Well, this was such an interesting thing because
Don't try.
they have a complex problem, right? She wants to move out in the middle of the night, and then they have a really great heart-to-heart. He immediately calms down, sees her side.
This is an amazing father.
He's communicating with her, and it's kind of great, and it's like it's everything that you want. And like, look, there's going to be problems in these relationships, and now that you can talk about them and come to an agreement, which is completely the opposite of the final scene of this whole fucking thing, where you
Because people
decide
love drama. They don't want to get
the thing-
resolved.
I just hate these fucking crutches
I
that
agree.
like garbage hack writers use to try to. It's like, oh, two characters that refuse to talk to each other about a really complex thing. Fucking hate it. That is what this entire thing is built upon. Or let's show you how bad this person is by having them kill an animal, or how good a person. And it's just like, why are we using all of these crutches to make this thing better when you already made a 10 out of 10 game, Neil?
Yeah, and Joel's so amazing. He actually says maybe it's a good thing for you to have your own space. He even's gonna fix things up in the garage, dude. God, this is the best dad ever. And I'm thinking this whole time, I'm like, no wonder she'd kill for him. She'd go on this revenge quest because this dude fucking deserves to get the revenge.
It's been there together for a long time, yeah.
Oh wait,
No.
this dude deserves it. Oh wait, she never does that. That's not the moral of the story. Anyways, so he goes immediately to the therapist, and she's rude as fuck, as she always is. And even before she knows she hates him, she's just rude as fuck. I don't know her purpose in this fucking town. He wants to know about the moth, and it turns out that it's not a butterfly. It's not about life and this and that, and it's about death. And so she's fascinated with death. 2 more years later, she's practicing and asking Joel about Salt Lake City. So she's practicing what she's going to say to Joel because it's been building up inside of her and she's tired of it. She's actually going to ask him. But, boom, he comes in. You can't talk to him. And she does the going out on the first patrol. Then, it's his first patrol, so it's still, she's a little squirrel fucking a big squirrel. She's being an asshat, basically. And then something goes down on the radio, and then he's like, go back. And she goes, I'm not your fucking kid, Joel. I'm your partner. We stick together. This was part where I was like, well said and rightful. She's right. And she's not his kid, but he is treating her as such. He wants to protect her. But she does have the right to say this, and I thought in this instance, well done. This makes sense. So they hike down together, even though that edge is so sheer, they're trapping themselves essentially if something goes down there. The horse flies by. Some commotion happened. Eugene was bit. Mm-hmm. What happens?
There's a standoff where they're supposed to shoot him in the face, and he's like, I've got some time. I want to go talk to Gail. And he even pulls a gun on him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's empty, but it's like, well, I thought they'd probably shoot him in the face if he's motioning to pull a gun out, but
Yeah.
And then they make a bunch of promises, and they're like, okay, fine, we'll do all these things, and then we get the look at the bunnies scene, like go stare out the lake, and then I'm going to shoot you, and then for whatever reason, this is Ellie being mad that she was lied to. She feels in a similar way, and I'm not going to lie. And then they go back to town, and they bring his body for Gail. And I think that this is what Ellie is now, like, because Ellie's supposed to be stupid in this TV show, right? We've changed the character where she's supposed to be an idiot.
Yes,
because
that's what
she's
I'm
not
getting.
top of the class at Fedra school like she was supposed to be.
Not only is she an idiot, but she's still a 16-year-old. She's not 19, 20, 21, 22, 37, 47. She's 16.
Yeah, in a world where you're
Forever.
constantly dealing with death and loss, and you think you would be a little bit better at some of these situations. And so it's like, it's one of those things that I don't think they executed the scene very. Like, this could have been a scene where she gets really pissed off at Joel. She tells the lie, and then she confronts him later on.
Yes,
but
that's
like
what
this whole thing is just like,
expecting.
are we supposed to not like this idiot?
Yeah.
Like, she's supposed to be dumb?
It does damage to her character when we don't even need this. The game didn't need this. This is to beat you over the head. This is to beat you over the head. to say that Joel is
Joel's liar,
Joel's a
murderer.
liar, a murderer. He he'll say something and do something different, and he's selfish.
And all decisions are black and white, which is, I think,
Right.
the problem. It's like there's clearly a right and a wrong, and it's like, well, actually, that's not how life is. And speaking in absolutes, it's dumb.
But because he says, I promise, he's go get the horses. She looks back. He says, I promise. So he lied to her. And then, Eugene's like, I don't need a view. I need Gail. I need to see her face again. It's sad. It made me sad. Great acting from Eugene.
Yeah.
This actor was the guy in Matrix,
Yeah.
right? He's older now, And Joel makes the wrong decision because Matrix came out when 27 years ago or something. Anyways, Joel makes the wrong decision, shoots him, lies to Ellie, and that creates new friction between them in the show so that we can justify some of the stuff that's
He's
coming
infected.
later.
You do not bring an infected into town. It's protocol.
Yeah.
And plus,
It's protocol.
you don't want to be a fucking dick. It's like, yeah, he wanted to see you, but I said no. It's like,
Yeah,
no,
and how
why would you-
traumatizing do you think it would be for Gail to watch her husband have fungus come out of his
then
mouth
get
and
shot.
go, "Ah!" and then his head explode?
Yeah.
That's her last memory. Maybe you don't want the last memory of your family member to be that. What? Just so you could say, I left the stove on, I love you, goodbye? No, you need to keep the memories in. So Joel's right. Once again, Joel's right. Once again, the show paints him as he's wrong and made the wrong decision. Didn't make the wrong decision at the Fireflies. He didn't make the wrong decision here. But the show is beating over your head that he's
wanted
made the
to
wrong
protect
decision.
the people he loves.
Yeah. And so they bring the body to Gail. Ellie fucking tells
He's
the truth.
lying. I'm like, what the fuck are you saying?
And I know it's not Bella's fault, but I want to punch her in so bad with the meanest, most angry face that she can make, which, it's just ridiculous. She lets it fly, and then she's like, you swore! And it's like, God damn it, man. You stupid fuck. You don't understand what Joel was trying to do here. And the alternative, but she's convinced in her way, and I guess we can wipe it all away, and somebody's going to do a dissertation and an essay that it's teenage angst and this and that and all these other things, and that they could never talk to each other, blah, blah, blah.
She's 19
Yeah,
here, right? That's supposed to be
19.
19? Okay.
And it just the way that Joel treats her with love and respect, and then it feels like when the 1 year later happens, it just feels like there was no building of their relationship. There was no trust.
Yeah,
there was no
I
open
just feel like
communication.
what happened because when
that
she
doesn't
turned,
make sense.
Yeah, once she turned 17, she just blew up.
And now
It's
she's
like, okay,
mad at
well,
him.
she's
Like all
mad.
the stuff that Joel's done for her doesn't matter, and it doesn't matter how good he is
Exactly.
to her. You're acting
It's like
as
I
if,
get you have questions, but to be
Yeah.
this fucking pissed off, and you see Gail being sad, and Joel's trying to comfort her. It's like, okay, let her have their moment, but she's like, no, I'm gonna fucking ruin this. It's like, he's a liar. He shot him. He wanted to come see you. Slaps Joe in the fucking face. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah. And then so I hated this scene, and then the next one, she walks by, comes back. We get this from the video game. You're an asshole. You lied to me about the Fireflies. I knew this whole time. I think I knew. And lie to me again, and we're done. But they moved the scene because this was in a different area, so they combined two of the video game scenes. In addition to combining two of the video game scenes, she actually says, "Was this a cure? Was this gonna work?" And he says, "Yes." And he's like, "You took this away from me. You took it away from the world." She says that in the game too, but I just didn't like it there. Don't like it here. There are other immune people. He says no, which I feel is a retcon. Yes, this is the way that Neil Druckmann is saying the previous people that were operated on that you found in the papers and the extras and the secrets, those weren't actually real immune people. That's why it didn't work. If they did it on her, it would have worked, and it would have created a cure. I don't know enough about the retconning, but anyways. So, he shakes his head yes, and he's crying. Well-acted scene. If you're seeing this for the first time, I think it's still it's good and better than what we think it is. Well, we've already seen it done better. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get to the present time.
Yes, I paid the price because you're going to turn away from me. If I had a second chance, I'd do it all over again. And then he does actually do. There's some new dialogue here. He says, "Because you're selfish," he tells Joe, and he says, "Because I love you in a way that you can't understand and never will. If you should ever have kids of your own, well, then I hope you do a little better than me." So he says that, and that's a new line to tie it to his trauma from the past, from his father. And I don't like what they do here after the episode. I think the director lady tries to say that Joel has a savior complex because when he was a young kid, he would protect Tommy from getting beaten, and he would put himself in these situations all the time because he thinks he's a savior of everyone.
Me too.
Oh, you mean doing the right thing?
That's different. That's a different kind of complex.
Oh, he has a complex of doing the right thing? Did you know that if you did the right thing, you would have a complex
I've been saying
of doing the right thing? What's wrong with you? All right, somebody take over while I look up who this lady is.
Yeah, after that, we just get the present scene. It's raining. She's going towards a building. Then fades to black.
Yeah.
More murderous Ellie.
Yeah, well, hopefully we get.
It's got to be the Jesse scene.
Yeah, more murderous Ellie, and we get believability and all that other stuff. But
I'm not looking forward to it.
Haley Gross. So the writers for this and the last episode, Craig Manzin, only Craig Manzin. So his decisions, some of the writing decisions. Neil Druckmann talks after the episode. Craig talks in the after episode. Randomly, this lady who says the stupidest shit about Joel shows up. I'm like, who the fuck is she? So I found her, Haley Gross. She helped write it. So that could be where some of these changes have come from. Anyways, y'all said that, it doesn't make sense. It's a hard care. And then here's the thing. She goes, but after that moment, because they had two separate moments, when she, I can't. Do you remember the moment in the game, Joe, where she runs off and then he gets on the horse and he finds her and she's like, "I'm not coming back to fucking Jackson," and he's like, she was like, "Okay, I'll come back to Jackson if you tell me the fucking truth of what happened." That's when it happened. It was in the fucking daylight. It wasn't at night on the porch. You remember? And then when he tells her the truth and she's like, "You took that from me. We're done." She was like, "If you tell me, if you lie to me one more time, we're done." Then he doesn't lie to her, and then she still says, "We're fucking done," because she's mad at him.
Yeah.
That's Ellie's character. Ellie is impulsive, and she gets angry, and you just told her something she don't like. We're done. Well, here, because they combine the two scenes, when he tells her the thing that she suspected the whole time and gets mad at him, she's like, "I'd like to forgive you." It's too hard of a character turn because they were two separate things and there was time in between. Now she can be like, "I don't think I can forgive you for this, but I'd like to try." But I think that's the weakness of the chronologically. This is supposed to be at the end of the game, flashback, this and that. So
I mean, I've always felt that it was kind of a flawed scene in its setup. It's like they're not on an elevator where they get off and never going to start. Or a train's about to leave. Like there is no end cap for this.
Well, in the game they did that better because Ellie was like, "Not I'm done with you." She's like, "I'm leaving." She's just going somewhere else.
Yeah, but even so, it's like again, you put a character in where he's going to make the most important decision of this phase of his life, and it's just like we're going to have a 15-second conversation and that's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because then you're phrasing everything as this is the right decision versus wrong decision versus I think that things are more interesting in a giant gray area.
We don't have time to flesh it out.
But yeah, so that's the problem. It's like, well, we do in the video game. We definitely did,
yeah,
and it's like here. It's like keeping things gray is interesting because you don't know.
Yes.
And
forcing Joel to confess, fine. But forcing Joel to say the cure would have worked when I don't believe Joel would have ever have said that and believed that it would have worked, in order to pull that needle back to, him making bad decisions and him and his trauma from his past, is just fucking bullshit, in my opinion.
I don't even think the doctor in the room would have said it would have worked because that's not. It's like, oh, absolutely, I'm about
absolutely, 100%.
100%.
I've done this 17 times before.
Yeah.
Like, what happened to him? Don't worry about that.
No, they're dead. Oh, they're fine.
Yeah.
The cure happened. It's just this is a new variation of the strain, and I have to cure this one too. Look. Okay. So, anyways.
Yeah, I didn't watch the. I never watched.
I never watched
the
it after the thing. Yeah, I'm
I
not
know
just
what else.
not
I was
interested.
just like, all right, it's done.
Okay, so and we're trying to build to the moment where she leaves the guitar behind. By the way, I hated that moment so much from the game where she leaves the guitar behind. It's like Joel did the right thing, and she can honor him by following through. Or even worse, she just leaves his memory behind as if that's the right thing to do. And this is why I didn't like Part 2. Many reasons. And now they've done it here even worse. Depicted even worse, spelled out even dumber, dumbing it down, acted worse from Bella, and with many changes that are supposed to be better but aren't. So yeah, that's why I lowered the rating. Now I would like to get to after the episode, because this feels like fucking Game of Thrones when you watch these things. This feels like Game of Thrones HBO all over again because it happened on HBO, where the creators are trying to explain the changes that they're making or the things that they think are clever that are awful. And you guys should watch.
Kind of forgot.
You should watch this one because he goes, Craig and Neil continue to stay, this is a quote, Craig and Neil continue to stay committed to the source material that everyone loves so much. And then later Craig says, we return to Joel, not because we miss him, but to recontextualize what he did. And Craig says, now, one good idea from Craig here. Craig says to Neil when they were developing it, what if we flash back to Joel's childhood? That's Craig's idea. And Neil goes, man, I never thought of that. That could be cool. So that's a good one.
That was a good opening.
Right?
Great.
And now it's a good idea. The pain and trauma past was passed on to Joel from his father. Pain and trauma is passed on to Joel. But also a sense of growth and progression is passed on. So that creates character complexity. That makes sense. And there's nothing more important to Joel than Ellie's happiness, which I agree with. And this is why he deserves, respect. And this is the last moment, the happiest moment we'll ever see them ever. And that's true, because it all goes down here from here.
Yep.
Now, the lady shows up, this Haley Gross. She goes, because he selfishly chose his kid over the entire world, Eugene's death could have been prevented in this tragic line of deaths that led up to this.
As Alex stated.
Who is this lady? What?
But the clicker still would have tore him up.
Eugene's death could have been prevented because he's selfish. He selfishly chose his kid over the world. That's not true. That's not right.
Well,
anybody would choose their own kid over the world. If it was his flesh and blood, she'd be defending this.
I mean, they're operating under what Neil said. Neil said after the fact that 100% would have everyone have held hands. The Care Bears would have showed up. Captain Planet emerges. They wipe everything away, and with this guy, this unqualified guy who has no way of making this cure, and they would have given it to everyone freely, and it would have been rainbows and puppies and blowjobs.
But she says in her own words in the quote, Eugene's death could have been prevented.
Yeah, because
it's just another death in a tragic line of deaths because of Joel. That's not true.
Well, they would have.
In what way would his death been prevented?
They would have had the cure. They would have gone back to Jackson, injected him with the cure.
No more clickers.
Because the cure is just made in instantly. Like Alex said, the cure doesn't stop clickers from ripping your body to pieces.
Yeah. Well, and then it's like, is it a cure or is it a vaccine? Is it one of those things that prevents it from merging with your, like, how does any of this stuff? It's like, because they're screwing with all of the stuff because
that's it.
So if you're bit, you can just get it and it's okay.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Well, no. When you contextualize it like that, what the lady says makes sense in this version, and what Neil Druckmann, who, to be fair, there's Joe, say it.
To be
fair, he created it. He can say, No, that's what would have happened in my world.
Yeah.
It's not Walking Dead. There's no fucking cure. This is how you're living. No, in this world there was a cure.
Joel's fault.
Joel's fault.
Yeah.
He deserves to die.
I mean, and then I read a lot of books, and you read a book, and you're like, hey, this is your story, but this is fucking stupid.
your story sucks. Your story.
Yeah, you get to make whatever rules you want for your
parts here, but overall, your story was stupid.
Yeah. Care Bears, Joe. The Care Bears would have given the cure to everyone on Earth.
Yeah. So the porch scene was the most nervous they've ever been on set, says Neil. He started crying, and then when he looked over and saw other people crying, he goes, so fuck yeah, we did it. And I didn't get the emotion from it. I didn't even in the game either.
Yeah, I was still just mad that it's just like, hey, we only have 15 seconds to talk. Yes or no questions only. It's like, this is how you make decisions as an adult.
Say that this would have happened, but say it,
I got more emotion.
And even if she stops him trying to defend himself, that would have been acceptable to me. Him going like,
I don't want to hear it.
And then she goes, I don't want to hear it, I don't want to hear it. That is so much more believable and real than just him sitting there and going, okay.
But yeah, I got more emotional in the museum scene. That was great.
Oh, yeah.
That was way better.
It's coming from a warped sense of love and loss, Craig says, for Ellie's revenge quest. And yeah, I guess it's a warped sense of love and loss, even though for some reason Craig gave her a sixth sense of, this darkness in her, mutilation and her fascination with death. The female director says this is coming from a warped place of sense of love and loss when she's murdering or wanting to go on this revenge quest, which so far she doesn't have a kill count. She was responsible for Nora's death and could have helped her or whatever, but she's not killing Scars and killing the wolves yet. So I guess maybe they're going to remove the murder ninja aspect of adult Ellie.
Who killed? So Dina shoots the guy that Ellie's wrestling with?
Yes.
And that's how he dies?
Yes.
Okay.
Then she stabs him in the neck.
But no, she does stab him.
So Joe told me that she snapped the neck of the dude
stabbed him.
She stabbed him.
But he could still be alive.
So
you don't know that.
So she
don't pull it out. Just leave it there.
No, you're right. Anyways.
Yeah, because right now the Scars are like nothing. Like
they're saving the Scars until the next.
But see, I love Joel so much, and he's the best dad ever, and that gives a reason why Ellie is mad at fucking Abby, right? Because it's like Abby took away the time that she would have had with Joel, after this moment. And healing and stuff, and that's why she just goes on this revenge quest, and it sucks. And I love Joel's character, and when she says my life would have mattered, he goes, your life does matter, but he doesn't say that. He says I would have done it again, which is the same way of saying your life does matter. When she says my life doesn't matter, your life does matter.
No, Joe, what he's saying is I'm so selfish that I will make the wrong decision over and over.
Joel was right. Stop trying to paint him as wrong. I'm done.
Neil says he was
by
wrong.
the way, this episode was missing so much of the Abby stuff from the game. There's a lot of Abby stuff. So this lends itself well to what I'm saying, that what they're doing, no Abby stuff. She's completely disappeared from this season. And it's going to be the Abby show in season 3.
Oh, man.
We're going to go from the perspective of Abby in season 3, and you'll get bits and pieces of Ellie, and then you'll get the confrontation.
That's not bad. I mean, I don't like this version of Ellie, so Abby's got to be
I'm
better,
not
right?
really looking forward to it at all.
I'm going to laugh when Abby is so Abby in the game was the worst part. Here, Abby
best
in the
gameplay,
show,
though.
Best
gameplay.
Oh, best game, right? Best gameplay. When you get to one-punch zombies. But we know that's not going to happen in the show.
No, because it's not going to be believable.
Yeah.
Because it was not believable when she was punching Joel.
All right, well, that is our full and complete thoughts on every aspect of these scenes in the show. We're passionate about it because, it was one of the greatest stories of all time, one of the greatest video game stories, adapted to the live screen, and season 1 was well done. And ultimately, what can you do? If we didn't really like the story, had problems with the story, this was the best part in the game, and this is how it was executed, really well in certain parts and not so well in others. So I guess it makes total sense. One episode left. Oh, by the way, Neil Druckmann directed this episode.
And the next one.
No.
He's not directing, but I thought he's writing and directing both of these.
Surprisingly, he only directed this one. The next one is going to be directed by Nina Lopez Corrado.
Oh, Lopez?
Oh, man. She's going to fuck it up.
Fuck.
Lopez is known to fuck shit up every time.
Nah, I mean, it's based on the writing, and it's written by the trio again, Neil, Haley, and Craig. The last two episodes.
It'll be tons of Dina and tons of Jesse, and then, it could be good.
Jesse's going to walk around that corner.
Hey, guys.
That's how it ends. And then they'll do a little bit of Abby stuff to set up the next season, and Ellie going murder ninja. But all that murder ninja is going to be off screen by the time we see her in season 2.
How good is Dina's hair going to look?
Amazing.
Really good, right?
Everyone's going to be wearing white shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's looking good. She's going to be wearing a helmet. She's going to have wings on her, and she's got a form-fitting suit. She's just wearing her costume from Superman, if you don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, yeah. It's
by then. Hopefully she gets a new costume because that costume sucks. Anyways, that's going to be it for us. Let us know what you think. Did you like the episode? I understand how you would. There are really great aspects to it. But ultimately, I have a fundamental problem with some of the changes. And that's it. So thank you so much for watching. And we'll see you on the next Angry Joe Show. Bye, guys.